Hey everybody, my name is Tim Moolman. I'm a Fujifilm ex-photographer and I would like to talk to you about the new X Pro 3. First, I want to give a shout out to FotoZA and cameras for allowing us to have this awesome space to film in. It's a beautiful gallery. If you're ever in Rosebank in Johannesburg, be sure to check them out. So the X Pro 3. If you follow me on Instagram or on my Facebook pages, you'll know that I love my documentary photography and I use the X Pro 2 exclusively for everything I shoot. I back up my X Pro 2 with the X100F. So obviously I love the rangefinder style of cameras. Now, this is Fuji's newest offering, the X Pro 3. And let me tell you a bit about what I really enjoy about it. This is not going to be a detailed feature by feature review of the camera. I want to tell you what I find to be valuable upgrades over the X Pro 2 and what I really enjoy about the camera and the time I've spent with it. And to start with that, I want to tell you about the Viewfinder. Now the Viewfinder has received a beautiful upgrade. It's bigger, it's larger. The electronic viewfinder, the EVF, is fantastic. The resolution is amazing. For me, working in the field, it's bright, it's gorgeous, and to switch between OVF and EVF as I do when I shoot, fantastic, it's wonderful. A really big plus as somebody who shoots with glasses is, if I show you on my X Pro 2 over here, this is a dust magnet. This picks up so much gunk and bits and pieces, and I find myself, for example, when I'm documenting a wedding, I end up cleaning my glasses a whole lot more than I do cleaning a camera lens because of all the smudge that builds up. But now with this new, I don't know what's changed, what plastic they've used here, but it doesn't pick up smudges and stuff. So that for me personally is a huge bonus already. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the cover for the SD cards. Now on the X Pro 2, it's very easy to open it by mistake like that. And I find myself doing this a lot. I find myself, it still shoots, but then I have to clip it back closed in that. I've never damaged the door in any way, so I've never had an issue with that. But the fact that this doesn't happen on the X Pro 3, and that we now have a proper clip to open that back the SD card door, that is a huge plus for me. I really appreciate the fact that the design team thought about the little things that we as professionals pick up that annoy us, and I love the fact that that now has been fixed on this camera. That's good design there. One other thing that they've improved, which I appreciate from the design team, paying attention to little details, is the fact that the battery door doesn't open as easily as it did on the X Pro 2. You have to make a concerted effort now to clip it back and to pull it open, which makes a lot of sense to me because, like I said, when I'm shooting this camera and I do this and the door pops open, that's horrible. One feature that I love about the X Pro series of cameras is the fact that the ISO dial, shutter speed dial are combined like this, and also that the aperture is visible. So I can see what my camera is set to just by picking it up like this. I don't have to check any other LCD out or go into a menu. I can literally pick my camera up, and if you've come from a film background and you understand your Sunny 16 rule, for example, you will have a good idea of where to start off in certain lighting conditions to start off and get a good exposure straight away. I do like the new feature they've added with the C function that's in there, which now means that I can use the front dial to change my ISO up and down. This just speeds up shooting for me immensely because my finger can literally shift from the shutter button straight down to the ISO dial like that and back up again, and I've got all the other controls at my fingertips like this, which is wonderful. That just increases the speed at which I can shoot with the X Pro 3. Now to get to the elephant in the room, the hidden LCD. Now as you can see in the back of the camera, it's changed. We now have a little screen at the back here which can either show your film setting as I've got it set to now, but it can also show your camera settings. So it can show you your ISO, your shutter speed, how many shots left, that kind of thing, which is wonderful. I've left it like this because, as I mentioned before, I can see all my camera settings from a dial anyway. I don't need to have my camera settings over here. When it comes to flipping it down, what I really like about it now is that it's a touch screen, so I can just touch to shoot like that, which is wonderful, which also means I can shoot from this perspective like that, and like I do with a lot of my photography, I can check my focus there, I can look at my composition, and I can talk to clients like this and joke and laugh with them, and I can still be shooting images like this, which is very clever to me. I didn't want to have a flip screen on the X Pro 3. I love my X Pro 2 like it is now. I feel that's a very strong and robust design the way it is there, and had no need for a flip screen, but must say now that it's here, I can see how it'll benefit the way I document, say, a wedding or document an event, and the way that the design is covered, the screen is very well protected. I don't see it getting damaged or hurt in a fall, which is a huge plus. So the camera will retain its robustness, it retains its weather sealing, which are all pluses for me. So as I mentioned before, this is not a detailed review going through every new feature on it. The camera has got the same sensor now as the X-T3. It's got a new film simulation, classic neg, which looks a lot like, I think, Superior film used to look. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful color representation. And the point of these film simulations built into the Fuji camera means I can get them out of camera straight away. Shooting events in that, I often shoot, for example, using the S-tier film simulation. And that means I can walk away from an event, dump my JPEG images straight to client, no editing required, and that's a wonderful plus for me. The grip feels slightly larger in my hand. The camera comes in the 3 different colorways. It comes in, this is the normal black, which is very similar to my X Pro 2. And then there's also the Dura Black and the Dura Silver, which are very scratch resistant apparently. However, that being said, I don't mind a few scratches on my camera. It's a tool for me. I'm a working photographer. I don't mind if it gets bashed up a bit. One key element about the Fujifilm X Pro 3's design that has changed is they've removed the D-pad from the back. Now that did trouble me a bit in the beginning when I heard about this, as I have several of my shortcuts set to the buttons on the D-pad. But Fuji's done something clever. They've used the Q menu and they've made the Q menu more customizable. So now if I hit Q, I can select 4, 8, 12 or 16 key functions to be represented on the Q menu. And as you can see here, I can actually have it transparent. So whether shooting through the EVF or on the back screen, I can still see what's happening behind the menu. So if something does happen I want to take a photograph of, I can quickly hit the shutter button and still make an image. What it does there is, by making this so customizable, my key points are there. So for me, it's still 2 button presses to get to something to adjust, as it would be on the D-pad anyway. It's a minor thing to change in my shooting style. I don't see it as a deal breaker in any way. So there you have it, the Fujifilm X Pro 3. For me, all the little niggles that I had with the X Pro 2 have been fixed out. Stuff like the SD card slot and the battery cover being more stable and more difficult to open accidentally. It's wonderful for me. I love the fact that the EVF viewfinder is brighter. I love the fact that it's no longer a dust magnet, which always smudges up my glasses. It's a wonderful, robust, weather-sealed camera and a worthy replacement to my workhorse of an X Pro 2. The Fujifilm X Pro 3. I can't wait to get mine.